Okay, so the next A to Z mini reworks, my thoughts, ideas, and so on and so forth would be Hecarim, the Shadow of War. Okay, overview physical damage is true, style mostly mostly abilities with his Q, difficulty 2. Yeah, I can understand that, but I would say more leaning towards 1 to be truthfully is really not that hard at all. Ability 2, crowd control 2, toughness 2, just damage. Honestly, yeah, I'll give him all of that. This is actually very right so far. Hecarim is a spectral fusion of man and beast, cursed to ride down the souls of the living for all eternity. When the Blessed Isles fell into shadow, this proud knight was obliterated by the destructive energies of the ruination, along with all his cavalry and their mounts. Now, whenever the black mist reaches out across Runeterra, he leads their devastating charge, revealing in the slaughter and crushing the foe beneath his armed hooves. Well then. Warpath. Hecarim gains attack damage equal to a percentage of his bonus movement speed. Okay. Rampage. Hecarim cleaves nearby enemies, dealing physical damage. Why is that Rampage? Spirit of Dread. Hecarim deals magic damage to nearby enemies for a short duration. Hecarim gains health equal to a percentage of any damage those enemies suffer. This one I find a little bit stupid, but eh. Devastating Charge. Hecarim gains increasing movement speed and can move through units for a short duration. His next attack knocks the target back and deals additional physical damage based on the distance he has traveled since activating the ability. Ooh, I didn't know that one. Onslaught of Shadow. Hecarim summons spectral riders and charges forward, dealing magic damage in a line. Hecarim creates a shockwave when he finishes his charge, causing nearby enemies to flee in terror. When he finishes the charge? It's like the second you get hit by it. Okay. To be truthful, I really don't have any major differences when it comes to Hecarim. I do think there are a few things that I would say, are a bit much for him, but nothing insane. Like his Q is kind of like the same thing as a Skarner Q, to where it doesn't hurt that bad, but it does hurt after being hit by it enough times, but he has to be right next to you for it to actually hit anything. It's really not any major form of damage, and it's not that bad. His passive is also really not that bad, except for when he specifically is using his E, or if he is using like a Yomu's Ghost Blade, because those items do give a lot of bonus movement speed, allowing him to gain a burst of like just bonus damage. But at the same time, it isn't anything to where it is like one shot or ridiculous, unless he is building for like pure one shot, which then like he's squishy as can be as well. His W is, as I said, the only ability that I would find a little ridiculous, to the point where you really don't even realize that it's active a lot of the times. You just kind of see the blue and you're like, what is that at first? Not realizing that it is his animation. That's like one thing that even like me, who's been playing the game for a while, I see it and I don't recognize it right away. And I'm just like, what is this? And I would probably make it that he heals for like a percentage of the damage that they take, but only that like he specifically causes, um, or something along that line. Because it's not that I find it like as a problem. To be truthful, I really don't find him to be that much of a problem. I find him to be a little bit annoying every now and then, especially when it comes to his alt. But he himself, like Hecarim, I really don't find to be that much of an insane champion or a difficult champion to deal with, but also to be strong enough to where he can like fight you head on. But overall, honestly, I find him to be mostly balanced. There has been a few times in the past where I'm just like, this is ridiculous. But as I said, like the only change I would make right now is with his alt and his W. I would not make any changes to his Q. I find it's just fine the way it is. His passive is just fine the way it is. It can be a little bit annoying when he does have like a Yomu's, but you know what? Like that's one specific item, and that's just kind of what happens in general. I'd say with like a Randuin's Omen. His E, I'm pretty. I'm just not fine with it in the sense of how well he can use it to like run away. Um, but I guess that's just like it's something that you're just gonna have to deal with him. But the only problem is that like I wish that the movement speed with it, he gained more movement speed specifically moving towards an enemy champion or something like that. That way, if he is, and like the range of it will be very, very large, that way you can see that he is, that way when he's ganking, he can use it from a far enough distance away to where when he's charging in, he's gaining the movement speed that he needs. But if he's trying to run away from someone, then he is really not gaining any movement speed because he's moving away from a champion. So there's really like no point of using it. So I would. Now, yeah, I guess like he technically doesn't have an escape then, but at the same time, you could use his alt also as an escape. So, yeah, but so then I would make. So yes, I would also make changes to his E because of that. So I would only make changes to his RW and his E, but not his Q or his passive. I find both of them to be fine the way they are. His W, I would only make it so that it gives him, it would heal him for a portion of the damage that he specifically did to them, including the W's magic damage that it does, meaning he would always be gaining at least a little bit, but I wouldn't have it be anything that like his teammates do or something along that line. Or maybe we can make him like a major counter to Soraka, to where if anyone that is in the thing in his circle that is getting healed from like an enemy that is being healed, also heals him slightly because of that as well, just giving him bonus heals. So like if you have a Soraka and your ADC gets caught out by him and he's in the W and you see this as Soraka, instead of just immediately healing him, you'll just kind of be a bit sparse with it or something like that because you don't want the Hecarim to be healed as well or something along that line. But even then, I would say that's more of a major case. As right now, maybe that could be tweaked. But as right now, as it is, I think that Hecarim's W should just only heal for the like damage that he does, meaning his Q damage, his E's damage, his alt's damage, like all of that he'll heal for a portion of it back as long as they're inside his W's range. His E, I already said, or I would give it like an actual range across the map, but not in a range of how far he can run. It's a range of how big the radius is that like he is considered going into a champion. That way, when he uses his E, he really won't gain any movement speed, or he'll gain like a small amount of movement speed upon initial cast, but he won't gain any bonus movement speed until he is actually specifically running out an enemy champion. Not, or, no, just an enemy champion, not Dragon or Baron or anything like that. Only an enemy champion. And the damage that it does is still fine, and just overall, it's that the rest of it is fine. Now his alt, as it says, it kind of does the flee at the very end of it, but it's really when you get hit by it right away. I am like 99% sure of that because I have always been fleed like before it even starts or before it even finishes. So yeah. Now, yes, it does like make you run away from him, but at the same time, it is just like it is a very good ability. I wouldn't decrease the range of it, but I would decrease the width of it instead of making it like 5, maybe making it only 3, because as it is right there, like it doesn't look that big, but that can hit your entire team. He's capable of jumping over walls with it. He's capable of making like completely changing his direction in every way because of the ability. And because of that, I just find it a bit strong, especially when he like in the middle of team fights. So I would definitely just like decrease it, and I would shorten the amount of time that you are fleeing from him. Now, I would still keep it so that like you are fleeing from him, that like you get hit by it and everything, it does do damage, and it still will go as far as it does, but instead it just won't have the same AoE. Now let's move over to skins. We get base skin. Blood Knight Hecarim, I find it okay, but I would just made it 5 out of 10. It's an okay skin. It's not bad, not good. Reaper Hecarim. This one I do. Honestly, a lot of Hecarim skins I really do like. Reaper Hecarim I do like. I wish there was a bit more Reaper-esque things in like the horse bit of it, but at the same time, I think like the scythe looks really cool. Hecarim himself, it does look really nice, like with the book and everything, and even the horse's like back part where it has the flaming tail is pretty good. I just wish that like the horse itself was a bit more fiery. Then we have Headless Hecarim, which I find it to be like a funny but cool skin at the exact same time, and I wouldn't change anything about it. It is a nice skin. Arcade Hecarim, I love. It looks very nice, polished, good. I can't. It's just it's a nice skin in my opinion. I really do like it. Elderwood Hecarim, I like, honestly, to be truthful. He really fits the aesthetic of it, in especially when it comes to like a splash art with like the whole tail. The actual horse has like random stone body parts type deal. Like his upper body is more tree. I wish that the horse, instead of just having like the stone Aztec symbol looking things on him, also had looked as if its legs and the rest of it were also made out of like tree branches and so on and so forth. But it's not like the biggest deal in the world, and just overall I think it is nice skin. And how like the right side of his body seems more like wooden, the left side is like more stone. How he has like his whole head aesthetic, I wish that they added some stone onto his like face area, but overall it is fine. World Break Hecarim, oh, this is a nice skin. Overall it does look very nice, from the horse to the entire thing. I would say is a good skin. Lancer Zero Hecarim is yet again, he has so many good skins. Now I don't exactly like the fact that it is a Lancer specifically. Because like in every other thing he has a scythe, in this he does have a lance, and they are very different. They are very different weapons. They do very different things. So, I do think that the whole aesthetic of it is very cool. It like, even when they add the kind of like shadowy aspect of him to it, it still looks very nice and just very cool indeed. But at the same time, I just don't like specifically the fact that he has a lance instead of a scythe. I kind of wish that they like combined a lance and a scythe and made that his weapon, but it's not the worst thing in the world. But I really do wish that he had a scythe instead of a lance. They are a very different weapon. But overall, I would say that all of his skins are nice skins that really do look good. That like I would say honestly the lowest one would be his first skin, which is like the Blood Knight Hecarim, and even that one is like okay, but like every other skin is just, god, this is like a 9 out of 10 just because he doesn't have a scythe. This skin does look really cool. Definitely give it like the same, like a 9 out of 10 or like an 8.5. Same with this, just 8.5. Looks really nice. Arcade Hecarim does look really cool, but not as good as the other ones, and just like a 7.58. Headless, I would have to like drop it down a little bit with like a 7. I would actually put Reaper over Headless and put like that like 7.58 somewhere in there, and then I said like this would just be a 5. It's an okay skin. But yeah, Hecarim I would say is a very nice champion. Now, I seem to gravitate towards these skins a lot, but there are 2 skins, technically 3, but one of them I'm like, I would pick between one of the 2 that I would like to see him with. One of them is either like a battle cast or a project. Battle cast. Let me go. Victor. For him, it's his creator skin, but nonetheless, like just to have some sort of battle cast mechanical, have him have like jets on the back of like the horse, and that causes like the speed boost. It'll have that animation. Have his Q light up with some sort of red effect whenever he uses it, something like that. Have like some, I don't know how they do the area with his W, have like just other spectrums with his R, or like have it be like holograms that are projecting out of the side of the horse, something like that would look very cool. In my opinion, it would be a very nice skin. I think that like a mecha or a like project skin would also look pretty cool. But I feel as if the project skin would look too similar to the skin that he already has, which would be like this one. I know it wouldn't have like the whole silver aesthetic, and he wouldn't have like all the rainbow s to him, and he'd have to pick a color, which his would probably be like blue or green, most likely green. Um, like I know that aspect of him would be different, but I feel as if like this one is mechanical enough to where he would be kind of like similar or something along that line. Where I don't know. I feel as if Battlecast specifically would just kind of look the best, just because I don't know. Maybe that is just my own personal feelings, because I do really like the Battlecast skins. But I would either go with Battlecast or Mecha. I don't feel like Project would specifically work as well with Hecarim. I still think it would be a nice looking skin, but not as well as like what a Battlecast or a Mecha skin could look like. And I prefer Battlecast over Mecha skins in general, so I'm gonna stick with the Battlecast. And then the other two ones are kind of like a deep sea Hecarim. We're Thresh skins like this, like okay, Deep Terror, where like his body will start to be made out of like instead of having a horse as the bottom part of his skin, it'll be like either a crab or a dolphin tail, make him a mermaid. um Maybe combine the both, have like the bottom of his body be like a whale's figure with dolphin, or not dolphin, but with like crab legs sticking out of it. Something like that would just be very cool to me, honestly, just like thinking about it, where like he can have like a starfish across his chest. His like weapon can be made out of coral. His entire body would just be like random, like kind of like this skin where it's like metal that like has like moss and things growing on it. His face itself could be like an upside down octopus, kind of like this skin, but maybe not the same. And just things like that, I just feel would work pretty well on him and just look pretty nice. Um, but then like the other one that I was half thinking of is a Earth skin, kind of like let's get Corky. Corky has his is this it? No, Ice Toboggan. Here. Earth Rider Corky, to where he's like riding the seal. I would put a Hecarim, like an Earth Rider Hecarim, to where Hecarim actually will gain legs and he'll be riding a seal kind of like this. The seal will be like have like his weapon itself will be a giant spatula, but like have one side of the spatula to be like sharpened to make it look like an axe. He himself would have like fishing gear, not fishing, maybe fishing gear all over his body. have like a fishing pole sticking on like the sides of the seal, something like that. I think would look really nice. But I wouldn't do an earth skin and a deep terror or deep water skin, just because they'd both be involved with like fins, and like the horse would be replaced with some sort of fish creature. So because of that, I wouldn't have both of them. But at the same time, I do like the ideas of both of them. But overall, I would think that those are like the only real skin ideas that I have specifically for Hecarim. But yeah. So that even though I haven't had a ton of changes with Hecarim, that is my Hecarim changes. I like a ton of his skins. They're all, for the most part, really well made in my opinion, and I do like them. I think his abilities are honestly pretty like balanced and reasonable as they are currently. For the most part, as I said, I would change his W, his E, and his all, but all of them were more minor changes, nothing major out of this world, but reasonable changes, I would say. And yeah. So, if you happen to know any Riot members, please tell them of this video. See if they like my ideas, or see if they like any of the ideas that I've had for any of the other A to Z champions, and so on and so forth. And yeah. So thank you all very much for watching today's daily, and today's daily. I really need to stop doing that. I'm too used to saying it from saying it every day. Thank you very much for watching this A to Z mini rework, my thoughts, ideas, changes, and so forth and so on. And I'm going to bid you all adieu. Goodbye.